Dr. Goober. Dr. Goober, it's Dr. Fenn and Dr. Lord on the Greg Tish Show.
Bobby, Mark, Shannon, and Finn. I was trying to do the Bell Bib DeVoe.
And Dr. Goober, the dog.
And Dr. Goober. Yeah, I got everybody in. We're talking about the decision for Leon County to shut down the tracks. The tracks had access for, Mark, you're saying 60 years?
Yeah, they've been open for as long as I can remember. I did want to briefly hit on Dr.
Oh, yeah,
Shannon's
on Dr.
comment.
Lord's, yeah.
And, for the $10 million that was spent, these things have to cure cancer. They can't have the stigma of cancer to them. And so, it's just bad due diligence. That's one of the reasons why I got fired up on it. I started researching turf very much, and I see the detrimental effects. Our athletes are on this, all the time now, the student athletes, and they have negative effects particularly with kids with puberty. And so our athletes are on there, and we got to do something about those. And
It's not just the chicken anymore.
Yeah, and
The hormone chicken. Listen, they put the turf down. We're screwed on that. They really made a bad decision. They sold us a bad bill of goods. And now we can't even go near it because you can't use the tracks. We want the tracks. We're not asking anybody to change the turf. It is what it is. We need these tracks open. And they're giving us some just bunk reasons why we can't use these tracks.
Is this something where it's up to an individual principal's discretion? Or is this something that is countywide? Can Joe out at Child say, no, we're going to leave it open this weekend? Or the principal at Lincoln or Leon? Because, again, we also know that Leon's is going to last forever because they can barely play football as it is.
Oh. So yeah, great question. So right now, the way that the current policy on the district facilities reads is essentially the principals at the high schools have the right to basically lock out people or keep the tracks open right now. But a couple weeks back, the school board voted to craft a policy that would officially lock everybody out of the track.
So make it a countywide policy.
Make it a countywide policy, and at that point it would be a district-wide policy where nobody could go on, no members of the public could go on the track. So they've given us a few reasons.
And that's what's going to be my next.
Yeah.
They give
They
me
don't hold
reasons
water.
why.
Well, this thing is kind of turning into a quagmire, too, because not only do you have the students who are playing on the field, what about like phys ed classes as well? Because in addition to just the standard usage,
Do they still
you're
have
also gonna
those?
have classes out there,
Do
too.
they still have PE? I mean, this is a serious question.
To my knowledge,
In high
they
school,
do.
do they, or is it an elective?
It may be an elective, but that doesn't mean that they're not having
Shannon,
those
did you
classes.
have? Because you're the closest. I mean, you're the young. You're the youngest. We rolled. Yeah, did y'all have PE still, or is it an elective? But you went to a different. You were in a different county also.
In high school, you have to have 1 year of it. So that's all I know.
I'm wondering if
And
are
we
they
wonder
going to
why
shut
Leon's
that out
getting
now?
larger. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the reasons that the school board gave?
Okay, so there's basically, it's categorized into four reasons that they've given us. Okay,
Just go over them real quick.
All right, so the first one is the need to keep people off to prevent excessive wear and tear on the fields. That's the first one. The second reason is they say public access to the tracks is a liability risk. Public access to the tracks is a safety risk for students. And number 4, public access to the tracks poses the risk of vandalism. But I gave a speech yesterday at the school board actually debunking each one of these. And, really quick, I mean, the first one about the preventing excessive wear and tear, that's easy.
How long's Leon track been before they've redone it?
Oh, man, it's been the last time it's probably been 20 years since they redid the track there. And I've been running on that track every week since I was.
So the public
19.
using them hasn't caused excessive wear and tear on the track. They're talking about the field. So, okay, stay off the field. That's easy. The second one about getting hurt, you could get hurt at Cascade Park, and that's still county property. And when you're on the track, it's when the school's closed. There's no students there. How is it a risk to students? It's just the dumbest reasons ever.
correct. And, the reasonings are just a smokescreen. Honestly, what this really is a vanity project for these principals and these athletic directors. They wanted to show that they could do something along these lines. They use it to promote their own careers, and they don't care about that's why they don't care about the detrimental effects to the athletes. That's why they don't care about us as a community. And we have to stand up against this. This is, effectively like a deep state layer These are unelected officials. These principals and this athletic director are operating in such a way that is detrimental to it. Robbed us of a community asset. And it's
taxes went up because we cost for money.
That's
Property
right.
values went down. If I have a place to go exercise, I'm more likely to buy a house.
that makes your house worth a little bit more money. It's a selling point to your house. You know, you look at the communities around Leon. I'm around Godby. You can walk to a facility that's going to increase your property value. Now you don't have that. And you know, they did a lot of things. That's the thing about vanity projects is it's only focused on one thing, and they don't care about the side effects of everything else.
Now, even though, as you were saying, that the principals are not elected officials, the school board sure is.
Yeah.
How have they been working with y'all?
So the school board has pretty much been ignoring us, with the exception of one school board member who is actually advocating for us. But largely we've just been kind of ignored. I think what they're hoping is that
y'all just go away.
That we just go away. I think that's really what it boils down to. But if you don't mind, I would like to go back to a couple of their reasons and just because I think it's important.
Okay, yeah, we got a couple minutes here.
I
Yeah,
think
go
it's
ahead.
important for the people to understand why the reasons they're giving aren't valid. So, really quick, the second one, they say it's a liability risk for us to be on the track. Well, the problem I have with that is these tracks, that liability risk has been there ever since people were allowed to be on the tracks. And what time and decades have proven is that the risk is low and the benefit to the community far outweighs that risk. And then the same thing with the vandalism thing. The risk of vandalism has been there forever, and time has shown that the risk of vandalism is very low and that the benefit of the community exceeds that risk. And then in terms of the excessive wear and tear, just put up a fence around the fields on the
field.
inside of the track. That's the
what
way it
popped
used to
into
be.
my head.
Yeah, and let me just comment on the vandalism. You know, previously, if a student had on a grass field, if they had done if a Godby student goes onto Leon and writes "Leon sucks" on there on spray paint, you know, that's like a little misdemeanor. It's a kid being a kid. But if they do that now, this is the kind of trap that we built them. This is very expensive. That could be $300,000. That's a felony.
That's
And
not
we've
just
set-
letting the grass grow
Right.
out because it's artificial.
Right.
Wow.
So we put this thing that is high maintenance next to, and they're worried about vandalism, but 90% of vandalism is caused by 16 to 18-year-olds. We know that. We know our 16 to 18-year-old boys just do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they put that in direct proximity to them. It's a trap that our system has set up, and we do have to fight not only for our access, but there's a lot of other issues here that are dangerous to our students.
How can people join your cause or let you
Yeah.
know that you support? Do you have like a change.org?
I do.
Okay.
We have it established. It's Reopen Leon County Track and Fields. You can find it by Googling Reopen Leon County Track and Fields. It gives us an email list that lets us keep in touch. When we're pulling these records, we're kind of breaking news in a lot of ways. And you can stay in touch that way. We can let you know who to vote for in upcoming elections on this issue if this is important to you. And hopefully, if it comes to it, when the change for the turf has to happen, we can get you guys to rally out and vote no on that.
Well, it's wonderful that y'all are so passionate behind this, and then because I had no idea this was going on until I got back from my vacation, and then
We
was
just
talking.
want to walk on something
Yeah.
sorry. It's like shutting down Monroe Street and saying, "We paid for it, you can't have it now." And we paid for those
Oh,
tracks. We pay for them.
You're preaching the
constantly.
choir because of the dog park with
And
me.
it's the same thing. Yeah, now your dog can't swim. It's just a shame because people enjoyed it. It's a wonderful thing for family, and it's our cause because we're all about promoting health and fitness in the community, and so that brought us on board. And yeah, we've shared the link on our Facebook page. You're going to share the link here to do that. So sign the petition. Come to a meeting, but just. We want them to open the tracks. We should be able to use what's ours because we always have. It hasn't caused any problems yet, and they're just making it a problem.
Yeah, and one more thing. There's power in numbers, y'all, and if we can, the school board members, sometimes they don't listen until there's a lot of people speaking out. So I encourage everybody to go to leonschools.net and contact your school board members and